Now, I'd be willing to hazard a guess that it might be a tough guess to wonder which bobcat is on the far right of this bobcat cuddle puddle we have happening here live at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Hello and welcome. Come one, come all. Today is Wednesday. Happy hump day to everyone here. I am in the Wildcat Pines area of the Wildcat Sanctuary visiting with some of our rescued residents. I'm going to zoom out for just a moment, give some context into what I'm zoomed in on. Here you can see one of our specialized bobcat habitats, and I'm gonna wait until I get a few more people filing in here because I was zoomed in on a bobcat who I don't often get to zoom in on. I am here, well, I'm gonna wait, but I'm here up in Wildcat Pines. And as you can see, the specialized habitat really caters to some of our rescued bobcats as to, well, they may not get to live a wild life for one reason or another, but they get to live a wild at heart life here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We want them to climb. We want them to feel like the bobcat they were born to be. There are my comments. Hello and howdy doody. Let me zoom in to see how shrewd everybody's feeling this morning. Can anybody tell me which habitat I'm at in Wildcat Pines and who would be the three bobcats that I'm looking at? I'm certainly most curious about the bobcat whose head is up right now. We're seeing the slow blinks and they're on the far right. So while everyone's guessing, I'm gonna say hi to Robin. Hey Robin, Kathy Barton's here. Good morning, or is it afternoon? It is a little bit earlier, Kathy, as today I have a half day, shooting out a little bit early for some 4th of July vacay, so I wanted to be sure to get a live post in among the many other things that we have on our plate. But welcome everyone. Let's see, who can guess which bobcats I'm looking at? This is a bobcat trio. All three of them were rescued from the state of California. I'll give that hint. Larry, Moe, and Curly, Kathy Barton cutting up already. Lori Heath asking, good morning, how smelly is Kiara, after Olivia describing some of the Kiara adventures we had at Sanctuary yesterday. And she seems to be smelling just fine. I think as she was continuing to dry yesterday, the lobby of the Animal Care Center was a little funky smelling, but today I don't notice a thing. Jeannie Curry says, no clue. And Jeannie, I don't blame you, because we are hanging out with Sarge, Morgan, and the third bobcat, who is now kind of resting his head. You can now see Sarge sitting upright doing some grooming. Sarge, Morgan, and Glen. Glen was that third bobcat. Glen goes down as one of our most shy rescues. Glen and Sarge were rescued together, but they're rather, I should say, they came to the Wildcat Sanctuary together, but their rescue was separate. Both cats coming from California, all the way back in 2020, living at Sanctuary since. So that's Bobcat Glenn, who we got to see that pretty mug of. And I know I'm kind of zoomed way in on them, but they're kind of in the far reaches of their habitat. Sarge Shirley is kind of waking up and stretching and getting ready to do what he does best, kind of mind the caretakers to ensure that they're going to be feeding him expeditiously and feeding him the amount of a lion or tiger, despite him being just a tiny little bobcat. I'm just gonna sneak down this hallway. Good morning, Rayanne. Happy Wednesday. Glad to have you with us on this live post at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Carrie Miller, now that's a good question. I'm wondering if Glenn and Sarge remember their taxi service, courtesy of myself. I was lucky to be able to chauffeur Glenn and Sarge here to their forever home after they were being held at a rehabber in California. Both Glenn and Sarge are suspected to be captive-born bobcats. It would have been a California rehabber who was able to take these two boys in But unfortunately, many of you were aware of wildfires in California in 2020 were rampant. And for her needing space for indigenous species of California that were being displaced by this wildfire, we were very happy to kind of not only be helping these wildcat rescues, but hopefully some of those native species in California as well. And I've been at the Wildcat Sanctuary long enough, Sarge and Glenn, to know what a flicking tail is. So I won't hang out with you two handsome Bobs too much longer. Looks like maybe Sarge is coming down to give me a piece of his mind, perhaps. But we're going to let Morgan and Glenn keep on relaxing. Really, truly, Glenn is one of our most shy Bobs. So to see him kind of upright and sternal and being able to look out, he's really got these kind of honey-colored eyes, these yellow eyes that I don't see on many of our rescue Bobs either. That is really something that makes Glenn even more special, if I may say so myself, Sarge. Karen Miller hitting the nail on the head. That tail tapping looks like a telegraph, telegraph messaging. Take a hike, paparazzi. That's right, and that's, certainly one of the things that I hope you all are able to kind of feel and see through these live posts is us never wanting to put our cats in situations where they're feeling uncomfortable, us never wanting to lead our cats on to something like Sarge, for example. Sarge is coming down here because he thinks that I'm the magical caretaker, who comes with all the food buckets. I am not that person, tragically, Sarge. I know that you are more social and you like hanging out with humans on occasion, but realistically, you're coming down to ask me for food. So also to that point, I won't be hanging out with Sarge too long because I don't want to get him, a big Bobcat yawn. I don't want to get you too excited. Food time's coming, I can assure you that, handsome. Ooh, I love that, Faith. You're tagging Alice Freeman, who looks like is a sponsor of Glen. And yeah, I hear you chatting, handsome. And well, first of all, thank you, Faith, for tagging Alice. A bigger thank you to Alice for sponsoring Glen, and I sure hope you're able to see handsome Glen at the beginning of the live here. And we got a little glimpse of that Bobcat butt of his too, but it's nothing like seeing kind of those honey-colored eyes like I mentioned. Someone is hangry, says Brie MacArthur. Now that would describe a lot of our rescues for a small portion of the morning before they get their meal for the day. I did kind of do a little lap around Wildcat Pines. I was hoping to kind of stick around and hang out with some of our small and medium rescues. This would be Arya and Mondovi, the Eurasian lynx. But I can tell that they are wanting they're hitting the snooze button rather, and they're crashing inside their indoor bedroom. So it looks like they're doing that. Let's go around the corner and see what Bonnie and Clyde are up to. And welcome, welcome, welcome if you're just joining us, everyone. It is Wednesday here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, a little earlier live post than normal. But as a matter of fact, I am shooting out a little bit early today to get out of Dodge for some 4th of July vacation. So I wanted to get a live post in today regardless. So I'm happy to have everyone along with us. And look at this calm boy back here, if I can find a little pocket to zoom in on. Typically, we see Clyde the Bobcat here, and Clyde of Bonnie and Clyde here. Bonnie's surely somewhere running around here. I'm going to keep my head on a swivel. But they would have been a part of the Bobcat and Lynx rescue earlier this year, coming from for lack of a better word, just a defunct fur farm here in Minnesota, and we were able to rescue. That would have been Bonnie, Clyde, of course, Miko and Ripley, the Canada Lynx, and then Kaya, the Bobcat. And tragically had said yes to many other cats before kind of the conditions were changed by the enforcing agencies and allowed that individual to sell off some of those animals. So happy that we were able to rescue the cats that I just mentioned here, but knowing that we had originally said yes to many more, and we're potentially going to be able to take that many more cats out of the breeding pool, that many more cats from being, you know, just living a life of uncertainty. So happy we got Mr. Bonnie and Clyde, and just an example of how we still got a lot of fighting to do for these small and mediums. And I'm extra happy, Mr. Clyde, because usually you're kind of marching around and wondering when's the next meal coming, when's the next piece of enrichment coming. Tragically, it's understandable for cats like Bonnie and Clyde of when they see humans, they feel kind of an extreme sense of urgency. If you think about it, what was their relationship with humans before and where they came from? You can think back to maybe their rescue video of seeing some of the cages that they were kept in, and they're standing on the kind of styrofoam flats that would store meat purchased from the grocery store. So if you can imagine what would be Mr. Clyde's relationship with a human being, whenever they come around, that means food's going to be happening. So I like seeing Clyde kind of hanging back and really realizing that he has everything he needs here when he wants it, whenever he wants it, but still worth kind of acknowledging some of those symptoms of some of our rescues' former lives and how it kind of shines through here at Sanctuary. Especially too, I think we hear Tammy talk about how, you know, kind of pound for pound, our Tiger King rescues are some of our most food motivated cats. And again, we can just suspect that they were getting, obviously, the amount of diet that they needed on a daily basis, as well as it being a proper diet. And so just little kind of symptoms like that that help kind of inform where they came from and how thankful we are for them to be at Sanctuary, where they don't have to worry like that ever again. Now let's see if I can find Serval or Savannah, or both. This would be Lloyd, Fiona. Oh, yes, speak of the devil. I said Lloyd, and all of a sudden he just appeared like Beetlejuice. Lloyd, of course, Mr. Bruno, and then the lovely Fiona. It would be Bruno and Fiona, who are Servals, and Lloyd is an F1 Savannah here. I can get a little better shot of you, Mr. Lloyd. I've been chatting. I got to catch up on some comments here. Look at you getting cozy under that tree there. Everybody's cutting up in the comments here about being hangry. Chizzy Level, I always like kind of redefining that of Bonnie and Clyde. Their only worries now here at Sanctuary are where to catnap. Exactly, where to catnap, how to come at a certain piece of enrichment. You know, to listen to the chirping of the birds, look up at that blue sky. Enjoy the compassion shared by our staff to them. It's just so many different, you know, not even different, just, you know, really revolutionary changes that our rescues get to experience here. Linda Kiner saying, good morning. Good morning, Linda. Glad to have you with us. Christina Steiner mentioning, have a nice holiday. And surely to everyone too, certainly have a good 4th of July here if you're in the States. Obviously too, we're all animal lovers. We all have pets, and just to be, it's always great, you know, maybe sharing some kind of firework awareness on maybe your social media page. Always sad to see how many dogs end up 4th of July festivities and just fireworks happening locally. But however, you will be celebrating the 4th, whether it's with good food, whether it's just taking it easy and spending time with your loved ones, or going out and having fun with friends. I surely hope it will be well spent. And admittedly, with Bruno and Lloyd, wherever you find one, you typically will find the other. And so I'm kind of looking around here. Well, admittedly, I'm wanting to I have a slight suspicion that Bruno is probably in one of these random little pockets within this tall patch of grass here. And usually I can maybe see an ear, but on my tippy toes, Mr. Lloyd, I can't see. So maybe we'll catch him, but maybe we won't. That's fine. Rayanne, you know how to cut to the core of me with an airplane reference, the comedy movie. Have a great vacation and don't call me Shirley. Chizzy Lovell asking, can the cats hear fireworks? That's, you know, really one of the beautiful things about where we are is we are smack dab in the middle of nowhere. You know, with a couple of neighbors who typically in years past don't have any types of fireworks or displays. We're far away from any city centers or anything like that. So any firework would just be a distant something and wouldn't be bothering our rescues whatsoever. I'm just gonna walk up this alleyway to maybe, just maybe, see if I can see Glenwald. Or not Glen, Bruno. We already got to see Glen, which is awesome. Let's see, Mr. Bruno. Looking in some of your hidey holes, which also exist in this little patch at the beginning of the willow here. And as you can see too, we know the cat that I'm looking for now is one of our tripod residents. Kind of a play on words for tripod. Bruno only has 3 legs, and certainly so. It may look a little untamed and wild in here, but Bruno sure has plenty of walking paths and is able to navigate accordingly. I'm gonna walk maybe over to the other edge and see if I can get another angle. And if not, I kind of want to curl back and see if I can see Arya and Handsome. And then truthfully, since I'm getting this live post in a little bit early because I have my plate full, that also means that I might have to cut it a little short. Collectively, the media team has their plate full, kind of getting ready for the next we're working on our 2025 calendar. So that, among many other media to-dos, need to be crossed off. Always work before play, as we've all been taught. So I certainly glad we're getting in a live post, and I appreciate everyone's understanding if it's got to be a little bit more shorter. And look at that, I even got what I wanted. I wanted to come back to see if I could see Arya and Handsome, and I see the handsome man right here. Look at that summer coat you got, Mr. Mondo. You look so sleek. You can see the animal care center right there in the background. Arya and Handsome truthfully love kind of the first pocket here of kind of being right in the middle of the action. They get to see all the caretakers coming out of the prep room behind me. Obviously, plenty of action of just humans in general coming out of the ACC. I see you. I'm all the way back here, handsome. And that a little bobcat puff like that even still manages to scare me a little bit, mister, and catch me off guard. So I appreciate that. I don't see your pretty little girlfriend, Mr. Mondo. Arya must be still kind of napping inside. But also, too, for knowing that these two rescues are very much attached at the hip, I also like seeing Arya and Handsome marching to the beat of their own drum on occasion. I see you, Mr. Handsome. Beverly Lawrence checking in after learning about Kiara's incident yesterday and Olivia having to give her a good old bath. And I'd say that today she's doing pretty good aromatically. I haven't noticed any odor in the lobby like there was yesterday. So no, I think Kiara is back up to snuff, and we are happy to have it that way. Hey, Mr. Sarge. We started with you, and what do you say we end with you, Mr. Handsome? You really are handsome. Speaking of which, look at that. Glen's laying in a great spot. We're able to see his face again. Look at that. I love to see it, Mr. Glen. Well, cool. It really is kind of bookended with these special pair of rescued Bobs. Well, excuse me, a trio. Of course, we don't want to exclude Morgan from this group. But that's Glenn hanging out in one of his favorite hidey holes, way back on a far platform. Of course, right above that is a skywalk where I love finding Glen. And then, truthfully, on some quiet days, he'll even come down and do some socializing with Copper and Archer, which is fun to see. But another thing I can see is a flickering tail. And as you all know, cats know best here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, and I'm going to let them tell me what's what. So after a little medium and small cat visiting today on our live post, I want to thank everyone for joining today. Really had a great time. Obviously tomorrow with the 4th of July, many of the office staff will be out. Of course, the animal care team is still going to be on the ground kicking butt for the cats. But that also means we will not be having our Wildcat wrap-up tomorrow. Tammy's going to be out. So rest assured that it will be back to normal operations next week after the holiday. But nonetheless, I hope everyone has a safe and wonderful 4th of July here if you're celebrating in the States. But nonetheless, have a safe weekend, and we are looking forward to seeing you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary next week. See you, everyone.